This podcast contains explicit language.
Bafangu!
Houston, flight is go.
Myla, let's go. SPM. Safety contact.
From Assignment X, thesoniashow.com, and Amalgamated Storytelling, this is the Dorking Out Show, the podcast for people who love stories from movies, TV, books, podcasts, and everywhere else.
Welcome to episode 132 of Dorking Out. This is the Star is Born edition. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and joining me today is my podcasting sister from another mister, Margo D from Book vs. Movie, the Best Neighbor podcast, Fit Bottom Girls, and Not Fade Away. Thanks for coming on the show to talk about A Star is Born with me, Margo.
Well, thank you so much, but I have to say, I gave 12 hours of my life for it.
You are super dedicated. I only gave about 10 hours.
It's an investment. It's a journey.
Well, you know, it is a journey. And this, you know, for people who don't know, this movie has been remade many, many times. So first in 1937 with Janet Gaynor and Fredric March. And you just told me this was co-written by Dorothy Parker.
Yeah, Dorothy Parker, not a lot of people know this, but in the 30s, before she died,
I would hope so.
Yes. After she left New York, you know, she was a Hollywood, she would punch up scripts, basically, as we would say now. She was a jokester, and she would just come up with these quips. And my favorite is, I'm going to give you a spoiler, but for A Star is Born in 1937, the lead character drowns himself. And there's a writer that hated him this whole time throughout the movie. And he said, I'd love to send a letter of commendation to the Pacific Ocean. Which is such a great line.
Now that I know that she is one of the writers on it, it just moved to like the top of my list. Because I watched the other two, but not that one yet. And then there's the 1954 one with Judy Garland and James Mason. Of course, that one is super famous. And I just watched it for the first time yesterday. Was it your first watch yesterday, too?
Admittedly, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why this has escaped me before, but it was my first time. You and I were talking off the air. I was shocked. It's 3 hours.
It's bullshit that movie's 3 hours long. I was pissed off that it was so long. And the version I watched is on Filmstruck, and it was like a director's cut where they added some additional footage and some like still photos from the movie to kind of like fill in those gaps. Did your version have that too?
Yeah, so supposedly like when they released it, it was, some people thought it was too short. They cut out a few of the music sequences, and in 83 they put them all back in. And the way they made it work is they put those still shots in there because they couldn't collect the footage anymore. Yeah. And that's why, like, and I'm sorry, and I like Judy Garland very much, but after a while I'm like, oh God, is she singing again? Like, song I don't know?
Yes. There's a huge chunk of this. It felt like a huge chunk of this movie was just the still photographs.
Yes,
and I started bitching out loud. Like, did they fucking film anything for this movie? Why is it all still photographs? Like, I was so annoyed. And the songs, Judy Garland's great. Of course, we all love Judy Garland. But the songs don't, like, push the story forward. So I found myself getting really bored with them. But I know that this movie is beloved. So I don't want to shit talk it too much.
No. And I think, you can only take so much sad James Mason.
Yes.
Where, my James Mason is the guy from Salem's Lot. I want him to put on the black hat, the suit, right, and start scaring the shit out of people.
I wish that James Mason was in that movie.
Oh, it would be great.
That's
God.
different
Make it
movie.
happen, universe.
And then there's the 1976 A Star is Born with Barbra Streisand and Kris Kristofferson.
Which is amazing.
Which I just watched for the first time the other day as well.
I have not seen it since I was a kid, and I'm super mad at myself. I'm going to name drop it. Almost 20 years ago, I was a little baby publicist. I moved to New York, and I worked in book publishing. And I took director Paul Mazursky for 2 days of interviews in New York, and he's in the movie. And he was one of my favorite people I've ever met. He was the wittiest, funniest man ever. And I'm so pissed off that I didn't know that he was in this movie, because if I can go back into a time machine, I'd ask him 1,000 questions.
What did you love about it?
I guess it's so 70s and gauche.
Right.
And I love how drunk Kris Kristofferson is. Clearly
so drunk.
Wasted. And I love how like Barbra Streisand, is directing herself. And
Yes.
is directing my favorite credit in the whole world now. It's the end of this movie, and it says costumes by Barbra Streisand's closet.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing.
That is amazing. And her clothes are really great.
They're rad. I love it.
Yeah. And then, of course, this new one stars Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. It's directed by Bradley Cooper, and he co-wrote the screenplay. He co-wrote several of the songs. She co-wrote some of the songs. And for those of you who haven't seen any of these versions, the story is pretty similar in each one. In this one, Bradley Cooper is Jackson Maine, a famous, I guess you'd say country rock singer?
Yeah.
Sure. With a drinking and pill popping problem, who discovers an unknown singer-songwriter, Allie, played by Lady Gaga, who's singing at a drag club, because of course she is.
Of course.
And he gives her a big break, and they fall in love, and as her star rises, his starts to fall. So...
And that's every one of them.
Yeah.
That's every single one of them. So we're not spoiling anything for you.
No,
by telling you that.
No. And so a few months ago, when the first trailer came out, both of us separately tweeted that we were going to watch the shit out of this. I think we actually said, I'm going to watch the shit out of this.
I think I said I'm going to watch the living shit out of this.
Did you watch the shit out of this?
I have, you know me, we're friends. I have a busted ankle, that I'm rehabbing. So I actually had to sit in the wheelchair section, which is the back row by the kitchen, at the Alamo Draft House.
Dedication.
Oh, and I'm telling you, I loved every second. I was totally into it with this movie. It's a little long.
Right.
Sure. But those big concert sequences, you really do have to see them on a big screen, I think. And the audience I was with was totally into it. This is Lady Gaga town. She's from New York. So...
Well, I'm in San Francisco, so it is also Lady Gaga town here.
I guess it's everywhere is Lady Gaga town, every metropolitan city, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you. We didn't talk about this yet, but I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable.
I love this movie.
Good.
I was tweeting with Adam Risky over at F This Movie, and I said, I think I might be in love with this movie because I really can't stop thinking about it.
It's absolutely ludicrous, but in the best way possible.
Yeah, it's melodramatic, but there's nothing wrong with that.
They're swinging for the fences. They're really, because we get so many Marvel films and DC films and formulaic kind of movies. And this is a formula, sure, but they're really going for it.
They are.
That's what I really loved. They really, when he drunkenly interrupts her speech and then, spoiler, wets his pants.
Oh my God.
I had to cover my eyes. I was so awful. I was awful watching
that whole scene made me so anxious.
Yes.
My shoulders were up to my ears. I was just cringing. Oh God, he's gonna embarrass her. Because I hadn't seen the other Stars Borns before.
Right.
Before this one. So, I mean, I have a vague idea of what the story was going to be, but I didn't know the specifics. And they all do, or at least the ones I've seen, hit that kind of moment.
Yes.
So I wasn't quite expecting that, and it's really cringe-inducing.
They have great chemistry together.
I wrote down the chemistry is everything in this movie. I truly, truly believed, and they might be in real life, I don't know. I believe they were in love.
They were, if nothing else, they were super infatuated with one another, especially one another's talent.
Yeah.
This is a very well-directed film. I think the cinematography is great. I think the writing is really good. I cared about all these characters. Andrew Dice Clay is in this movie, and I loved him.
Yeah. He's good in it too.
Yeah.
I do really feel like they were in love with each other, and it's some chemistry that I just haven't seen in a really, really long time on the big screen. I mean, maybe my sister will be the only one who probably agrees with me on this, but I really thought Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore were in love in The Wedding Singer.
They also have amazing chemistry.
But I was blown away by their chemistry in this, and just the way that throughout the movie they're always touching each other, like their face and their hands, and just the way you do when you're in love with someone. You always find like any stupid reason to touch them. Like they're always touching each other, and I'm like, they're in love. I don't care. I won't hear any different. I don't care if they're seeing other people.
Right. None of that matters.
In my head, they're in love.
They are. And I have to say, in the back of my head, because Madonna has a thing in her craw about Lady Gaga, like she thinks she's copied her or something. Whatever, Madonna.
Yeah.
When she finally sees this, she's going to be gnashing her teeth.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be insanely jealous.
So jealous, because let me tell you, Lady Gaga is the whole package. She can act.
Yeah. She is amazing in this movie. Like
very natural.
Yes. And just like the confidence she has about her singing, but like the insecurity she has about her songwriting. Like this is a multifaceted character, and watching her grow, and she's just so natural. I was just really blown away by her. I hadn't seen the American Horror Story that she was in, because I don't watch that. It looks too awful. But
yeah, it's not
she's
great.
So great in this movie.
And how much did you love Sam Elliott as his brother?
I love Sam Elliott. I always love Sam Elliott. I was so glad that they gave him something to do.
Yes.
I feel like all these people just cast Sam Elliott. It's almost like shorthand. Like, we need gruff talking guy, so we just get Sam Elliott. And then they don't give him anything to do. He actually has something to do in this movie, and he's so good. And the scene where Bradley Cooper tells him, like, I wasn't trying to mimic Dad, it's because I idolized you. And he gets out of the car, and like the look on Sam Elliott's face, and he like slams the car into reverse and like drives up, like he can't even deal with like the emotions of the moment. Such a great scene. There's all kinds of scenes like that in this movie. I could just go on and on.
Bradley Cooper did a great job, and it's he's great as the lead. It's a little bit of Kris Kristofferson cosplay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mixed in with some Eddie Vedder, who apparently is one of his friends, and he ran by the songs by him. But like, I thought the songs were really good. I thought the scenes were really believable. They were at Coachella, I think, where they filmed quite a lot of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought. The costuming was great. I liked the drag queen part. I thought they were hilarious.
Yeah, I like that part too. And the scene where he first brings her on stage, where he starts singing the song and he is trying to lure her on stage, and she finally comes out. I got goosebumps. Like,
it was incredible.
I was so happy when the movie doesn't have a happy ending, so let me say that immediately. But I was so happy when it was over, because it was a movie that made me feel something.
Yes.
It wasn't just, like you said, it wasn't another Marvel movie. It wasn't a DC movie. It's, at least I, could feel something, and I really cared about these characters.
You believed it. You believed that she was really in love with him, and you believed, like, oh God, are we going to spoil in this review? Or
yeah, let's go to town.
Okay, so yeah, when he starts to disintegrate, and you could see her stars going up and his is going way, way down. You can, it's very hard to stay empathetic with the both of them, because you're either like mad at him for fucking up, or you're mad at her for leaving him behind.
Right.
But you see the constant tension, like they really want to make it work because they're so attracted to one another. They love one another so very much. And it's, for me, it's very hard. I don't know if it's trigger for some people, but like when you have family members that are alcoholics,
yes,
some of his scenes, I mean, it's a brutal depiction of alcoholism, like very, very real. And that was super hard to watch sometimes, but that means it was good. Like they were paying attention. There's like the details are there.
Definitely. I actually contacted some friends of mine after I saw it and told them, like, be careful going to see this one. It's going to be a trigger for you, for your kids, whatever. Like, just be careful, because there is so much in the movie it's real, it's honest. Like, when you're in a relationship with someone, whether they're your family or your spouse or whatever, and they're suffering from some sort of addiction, you think, like, well, if I just love them enough, like, that's going to be a cure. And then you also think, well, if they really love me, that's going to be a cure. And it's not. Like, that's just not how it works. It needs to be more than that. And you're watching them, like, make this mistake that everyone makes. It's really hard. You can't help but make it.
It's really hard. Like, you know, when somebody finally gets sober the first time or the second time or whatever, and they seem like themselves again. Yeah. It's like a tonic. Like, you just want to forget anything that happened. And you have to remember, like, they're struggling every day to get there. And it's so well done when it comes to that, because that's a tricky thing to get across. You know, he's an alcoholic. He needs a lot of help, and he's not getting it because he was babied, because he was famous for so long. And now he's running out of that fame. He might be running out of that money for all we know. And so, you know, you just like, what's going to happen to him? And like we said, her star is right. The two of them with her billboard on the Sunset Strip. Oh my God, I love that scene.
I love that scene too. There's just a million scenes like that.
Yes.
I also think the movie does really well at explaining how he got there. Whereas the other ones didn't really explain it to me. It's just like, they're famous and now they're drunks. You know?
Kris Kristofferson, yes.
Like, the movie opens and he's like a huge asshole just from like the minute the movie starts. Like, he's a dick. He's stealing people's motorcycles and like crashing them, and you know, just he's a huge dick and a drunk. But we're never really it's never explained to us why. Right. Whereas with Bradley Cooper, we get some backstory of how he got there, but also they they show us the crazy high of performing for all, like, it happens right at the beginning. He's performing for all these adoring, screaming people. And then you get in a car and like close the door.
And you're alone.
And it's like, how do you fill that space?
And you want to drink. Yeah. And you wear and this is the thing. And like, it's a story been told before, but they do it so well. Like, you wear, you know, it happened with my brother. Like, you wear everybody out that used to drink with. Yeah. You know, they all get lives and they have to, and so like, you just wind up going to weird places on your own. And I found it, you know, how do you get them to meet each other? And is it Shangela, who's the drag queen that she was in, do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
I don't.
Okay. Well, they have a couple of people from there, and they're as the drag queens, and they're just, that could be so like a dated thing, right? You know, oh yeah, men in dresses, ha ha ha, you know, like Tu Wong Fu, whatever. But it's been so elevated with these. Like, these are like the top of the line. And when Lady Gaga shows up to sing La Vie en Rose, it's breathtaking.
It is. And it's not, one of the things I love about that scene is that he's in a drag bar, but it's not played for ha. Right. It's not played for comedy. Like, he doesn't care. Like, it is no big deal to him that he's in a drag bar. He doesn't care.
Nobody has to explain to him, "Sizz this, buy that," or whatever. Yeah. He's just there because he wants to, you know, hang out. He just wants a drink. Right. But he likes music. Yeah. So he doesn't care. Whoever's playing, he's into. And I just thought that was, I thought, like, I just love them, like, spending the night together, getting to know each other. And I love that she punched that guy in the bar. I love that.
That's one of the things I love about the movie too, is how they hang out together that first evening. And there's definitely like a chemistry, a romantic and a sexual chemistry, but like, there's no acting on it. They're just talking and getting to know each other. And there's this, like, they're trying to understand each other and a mutual respect as like artists. And it's a very sweet little, you know, couple of scenes that I don't think we get a lot, even in romantic comedies, where you're like, why do they like each other?
You and I've talked about this. Like, you know, I'm fine with romantic comedies. Give me a reason to watch them.
Yeah.
You know,
well, like Pretty in Pink, when we watched that, we're like, why do they even like each other?
they would never be anywhere near each other. And it's like, and I said to you, like one of my comfort movies when I need a comfort blanket is The Goodbye Girl. You figure there's two people becoming attracted to one another and being like, you know, you're not perfect. You're kind of quirky and weird, but that's what's great about you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you find in this movie. Like they beneath the surface stuff, they're really finding out what makes the other one tick. And it's like so believable. And it's so, I found it thrilling when he's like, she, you know, quits her job and she gets in the plane.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that scene on the plane. Oh God, that is my dream, is to fly like that one day.
Well, and I love that this whole podcast is just me going, and I love.
I know, me too.
And I love.
Because you and I trash a lot of stuff. So believe me, this is high praise.
I love that she spends like an evening hanging out with this super famous rock star, and he's like, come away with me. And she's like, nah, I got to go to work. Like, you know, she takes it as like, you know, she realizes he's a drunk. She's like, he's probably not going to remember, you know, that he even invited me or whatever. And then she's like, nah, I got to go to work. And then she goes to work and she's like, this shit sucks, and leaves.
Which is realistic, I think.
I think so too. Absolutely.
And I love Andrew Dice Clay. He's a driver and all of his friends are drivers and they like like limo drivers and they hang around the house like a Greek chorus.
Yes.
I love their characters. I thought they were great.
There's a lot of great smaller, like Dave Chappelle is in this and he's really great. It's so weird. Like Eddie Griffin shows up as the preacher that marries them, but it's not like a funny, showy part. It's just like, oh, there he is playing the preach. You know, it's just such a good movie with these small little moments, and I love the emotional stakes in the movie. I love that. Here it's me again. I love that. I don't feel like he's ever really jealous of her. Did you ever get that impression?
No, but here's my question for you, because I've been debating this with another person. So she does make it. You know, she starts out being a piano crooner belter with him on the road, and then she gets signed, and then she releases a super pop record.
Right.
And she goes on Saturday Night Live. I love all these touches because it's so realistic. You know, Alec Baldwin introducing her and stuff like that. And so do you think he really didn't like the pop song that she does? Or or maybe that was where he was jealous, or he just was confused by it?
I think that pop song is pretty silly.
Yeah.
Pretty representative of a lot of pop that we see. I think it's definitely not his style of music. And to him, like, everything she writes is like shallow, right? It's going to be like something deeper, something more meaningful. And it's not that pop music can't be those things, but that song isn't. It's all about looking good in jeans and shit like that, which is fine. You know, we all need things to dance to.
That's the way I saw it too. Like, and I think that's Gaga's career.
Yeah.
Because she does those dance hits, those pop hits, but then she's done country-ish music, and she's done ballads and things like that. So yeah, that's what I thought too.
He does tell her, like, if you're going to last in this business, you need to be your authentic self. You need to have something to say. And I mean, I'm a little surprised that maybe he wouldn't have heard the album before he saw it on Saturday Night Live. But that's a nitpick. But, you know, and then he sees her performing and it's not her at a piano singing something deep and meaningful. It's about, like, you know, how'd you get that ass, and I'm going to tap that ass and look at your jeans and blah, blah, blah. And it's all pretty stupid. So, you know, that's, I have seen like tweets where people are like, it's shitting all over pop music, but I don't think it is. I think it's more about him wanting her to be herself. And is that really herself? I don't think it is.
I think it's an element of herself.
Right.
Because I think it's an element of Gaga. So I think, like, maybe that's a little bit of her shining through. I don't know. That was like the one part I wondered, was there another scene in between?
Right. Where
he was like looking at the song list or something on her album, or listen to the album for the first, because I thought the same thing. He didn't hear her album before he showed up at Saturday Night Live. But it's a nitpick. That's a nitpick. It's a great scene. And once again, you should see it on a big screen when you're there. Yeah.
And in this movie, they really show you how talented she is, and he is. It's
Yes.
not a bunch of people telling us over and over how talented they are or how beautiful she is or, these things. Like, they actually show us
Yeah.
how talented because she's Lady Gaga. Of course, she's super talented, but we can see it for ourselves. And I just feel like there's a lot of other movies that when you see them, they're always telling us and they're never showing us. And this one really shows us.
I think that's what, and it's a first, it's a directorial debut for Bradley Cooper. He probably was working on it for a long time to get it right.
Apparently, he had quite the prep time for this movie. Like, he was working it out for quite a long time, and then I read that they shot it over 42 days.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like, he did all this crazy prep beforehand, and then they shot it over 42 days.
Well, I mean, it's
also
spectacular.
I also read that the dog in the movie's his real dog.
Okay, I love that dog more than anything.
Everyone loves that dog. Everyone loves that.
Okay, big spoiler here. Huge spoiler, sorry. See the movie first before you hear this. But when he offs himself, which is what happens to all the lead men in this part, he cooks the dog this gigantic steak and leaves it on a plate. You gotta cut up the steak. That dog is gonna choke on that damn thing. And then there's both of you dead.
I leaned over to my friend and whispered, "You shouldn't do that.
No, that's bad.
That's bad for your dog. He's gonna be sick.
That dog is gonna choke, and then the both of them are dead. And what does she have?
What a selfish asshole."
Which we should say, by the way, if suicide is a trigger, you may not want to watch.
Yes, another thing.
Yeah,
that's another
it's depression
thing
and everything.
Yeah, that's another thing that this movie does. I feel that the other ones don't do is how it treats those final moments and how he gets there. And the other ones that I saw, well, in the Barbra Streisand one, does he even kill himself? He's just in an accident, right?
But he's drinking a Schlitz. I mean, hello 70s.
Is that what a way to go?
I mean, just that shit beer, not even a Heineken or something, a little pricier. But he's drinking Schlitz.
I just assumed he was in a drunk driving accident.
No, I think you're meant to wonder, is this an accident on purpose?
Right.
Is like all those kinds of car accidents when they you wonder, was that person reckless or was that person did they have some deep-seated desire and just didn't, you know what I mean? This is how they did it. Yeah. Yeah. Fredric March was great, but I'm sorry, the first one where he just goes into the ocean and it's just this gorgeous sunset.
I will be watching that one tonight. So Twitter is all a flutter about this movie. Why do you think it's clicking for so many people right now?
I think it's like we said, it's different. It's a movie filled with characters that you, honest to goodness, really care about, and it's bold. A lot of times movies like this that get Oscar buzz, they tend to be smaller pictures. They tend to be a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, this guy is they're not just going to get married. They're going to get married in the most married way possible, in Memphis with a choir. That day, by the way, don't they have to go to a courthouse or something? But no, that's okay.
I did love in the 1954 one where Judy Garland and James Mason get married and they reveal his real name and she seems confused because she's had her name changed by the studio. And obviously so is he, but that's never been addressed before. And then they get married and they refer to him as Eddie Bubeck or something like that. And she has this look on her face huh? Who am I marrying?
And her name is Esther Blodgett in that one. And that's the end. And they keep her name in the 76 version with Barbra Streisand. Mm-hmm. And it was funny. I read something about that version, the 76 version. The director of that movie was battle scarred after working with Barbra, and it just didn't direct movies for a little while just because apparently she's a bit of a tyrant.
Oh.
Spoiler. Another spoiler there.
Who didn't know
in case
that?
you didn't hear. I know.
So, which one do you like the best?
Easily the 2018 is the best.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I think they're all enjoyable. I would say I would probably put the next one, the 1937 version.
Okay.
Once again, because Dorothy Parker's script is hilarious. Then the 76 version. It's worth watching that 76 version. It's such a time capsule of America in 76. It's just incredible. And then the 54 version, only because it's too goddamn long.
So
if they cut that down by I'm sorry, and I love Judy Garland too, but I don't need 3 hours.
Yeah. After 3 hours, it's no longer A Star is Born. It's more like A Star is middle-aged or something.
A star is just annoying. It's just following you around from room to room. Like
just start yelling at the TV. Just run into the ocean.
Take a swim, buddy.
Hurry up.
Sad James Mason, go away.
Sad James Mason.
Come back in the verdict. We like you there.
Oh, sad James Mason. So I know Lady Gaga's getting like all the praise, but
yes,
I want to say Bradley Cooper is really, really great in this movie too. He's a very handsome man who I've always been relatively indifferent to be honest. Like when he showed up in movies, I was like, it's Bradley Cooper, whatever. Like he didn't.
I totally agree.
He wasn't a draw for me. I didn't, but he didn't like repel me either.
I felt the same way. I thought he was a little frat boy.
Yeah.
Little douchebaggy. I mean, sorry, but just like a little hint of that there. I have to say, okay, let me say, I don't know. Do you listen to Howard Stern?
No.
Okay. I have for like 20, 25 years now. And every time Lady Gaga is on his show, I fall in love with her all over again. She is so humble and funny and gets why some people think she's pretentious or gets why some people, right. When Bradley Cooper's on there, he's the biggest fanboy alive, and he really drops his cool, and he's just like nerds out and just has like fun with it. Like, I think they both have a decent sense of humor and a sense of themselves, and I think that's why they can do this. This over the top. I mean, it's very epic, this love story, and I think his beautiful blue eyes. Could you just like swim in those all day?
Yes, but he's very handsome in the movie, but he also. He does look like someone who drinks too much in that, like he's got like he gets this red face, almost like a sunburn kind of on his face. And
the smoking.
Yeah.
It brings up a lot for me. Yeah. It's like I could smell him. Do you know what I mean? I know what he smells like. And he's a good person. I mean, Jack is not an asshole. He's pretty decent.
Yes.
To the people around him. He's rough on his brother sometimes. I mean, and he doesn't like the business, but he's very decent. I hate that. Oh God, it breaks my heart, that scene where they're doing that, not Buddy Holly, it's the Roy Orbison tribute.
Oh, yeah.
And he thinks he's going to be the person that pays the tribute. And then it turns out it's somebody else. And he's like some goddamn Aussie or something.
Yeah. It's and he has some young guy.
Yeah.
And a girl. Yeah. And a girl.
Brandy Carlisle.
Yeah.
Brandy Carlisle, who's a singer-songwriter, is very good. Yeah. And that just like when he realizes like, oh, I'm just going to be playing backup. It's like, and she's going to be starring in that show. It's like, ugh.
That whole scene. Ugh.
Ugh.
It was so stressful.
Yeah. And Ron Rifkin. I loved Ron Rifkin as the AA sponsor kind of guy with the hearing aid. I loved that. Was a great touch.
Yeah.
With
nice.
Because they tinnitus. We forgot to mention, like, part of what Jack is going through is he has tinnitus. He has this, the ringing in his ears, and he's a musician. Like, who is he going to be if he can't play music?
Right, but he doesn't want to take the precautions to protect himself either. And
yeah,
and his didn't they say his father died at 13, and he was mainly raised by his brother, and he kind of has, he just has a lot of issues. But like I said, they gave him like good backstory to explain why he is the way he is.
Yeah,
but I do love that he's not, like you said, he's not an asshole. I think the 54 and the 76, they're both huge assholes. I think
they're both crybabies too. Just like, I'm sorry. And believe me, I love me some Kris Kristofferson.
Yeah, I'm fascinated that you love that one so much because I found him almost like unbearable.
Oh yeah,
because he's
look,
such
I
a
haven't
dick.
seen it in years. I think I just like Kris Kristofferson.
Yeah.
So I'm excusing that. Like I said, when I watched this the other day, I was all like, oh God, this guy's awful. And they're like, oh, Paul Mazursky. I remember Paul.
It was cool.
I wish I asked him about this.
I do like the look of the movie and the clothes and all those things. And of course, Barbra Streisand's awesome. She's always awesome. But
I love her voice.
He was so, like, his character's really obnoxious. Like how
he's terrible.
He's like walking her through his huge mansion and she's doing all these wisecracks. She's like the best part of the movie. And he, gets a spray paint can.
Oh, yes.
It spray paints her name on the wall. And I was like, what an asshole.
It's a lot of like white male entitlement.
Yeah, totally.
The Robert Plant syndrome. Yeah, the Robert Plant syndrome.
Yeah, and he cheats
I don't know
on
why
her.
I said that. Robert Plant's supposed to be nice. I'm sorry. But that just like that rock star thing of the 70s. Like, I'm just going to be. Do you remember, like, I was a kid, I remember hearing stories about like Van Halen or The Who, like they would destroy hotel rooms. And we were thought, oh, that's so rock and roll. And as an adult, I'm like, what a bunch of dumb fucks. First of all, your manager bills you for that. Okay? Dum-dums. So you're paying for all of that. But also, how horrible. Like, leave a mess for other people to clean up, you entitled jackasses.
He's so awful. Also, it does have the young Gary Busey. It's always
I love Gary Busey.
It's always nice to see young Gary Busey before he went totally crazy.
Yeah. Sometime after Point Break, he really kind of did a dive, didn't he? He was like Celebrity Rehab and Celebrity Fit Club and
Celebrity Apprentice.
Oh, he won an Oscar.
I know. That's sad.
It's very sad. Let's go back to Paul Mazursky. He was great.
What does he play in the movie? He's
like the manager,
right? Yeah,
for both of them.
Okay.
And he was the director. Did you ever see Down and Out in Beverly Hills?
Oh yes.
He was director of that, and he's director of a movie called Bob and Ted and Carol and Alice, which was like this. Yeah, that's it. But he was on The Sopranos a bunch of times, and he was one of my favorite people I ever met, ever, and just anyway. Great guy.
Now you know.
Wonderful man. Now you know, you guys.
So how many more times are you going to see this in the theater? I know you can't walk, so.
I think the next thing I'm going to see is going to be Halloween, and then after that, it's going to be Bohemian Rhapsody. But if I can fix it, and now that I know I can get there pretty easily on my own, I may see it one more time. I might need to see this one more time.
Yeah. I've been feeling that way too. Like I think I'm just gonna make a trip out. I'm gonna make a trick out. But
I will tell you this: once it goes to streaming, I will watch the living shit out of it.
Yeah, that's what one of my girlfriends who came with me said. She's like, "This is gonna be the movie that every time it's on, I'm like, oh, A Star Is Born is on,"
and you're not gonna be able to like turn away.
Yes.
Yeah.
She said it's gonna be her new Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, I have to say with Andrew Dice Clay, did you ever see a movie? This is from 30 years ago. It's called Casual Sex.
I did see that probably when it first came out on video.
It's so cute. He's so good in that. Like, this is the first time I saw him in something where I'm just like, oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot all of his bad comedy routines and that awful stuff.
Hickory dickory dock. I'm not even going to do the rest. It's so awful.
No. Yeah.
I didn't see his Ford Fairlane movie. Did you see that?
No.
When did that come out? That was like 87 or something like that. I didn't see.
Something around that. Yeah.
I saw everything back then. I can't believe I didn't see it. Maybe I did.
You probably forgot it. I mean, some of those things just like don't stick. Yeah. But I think I saw Casual Sex like 12 times or something. I saw it a bunch. It's for a movie that's supposed to be like this raunchy sex comedy. It's actually a really cute rom-com. And in the end, he and Leah Thompson get together, and they're so cute.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
Yeah.
He's like wearing a sweater and stuff.
Yeah. He plays a driver. Yeah. He's a limo driver.
Oh my God.
It's all coming together.
Margo, This
Holy shit.
A Star is Born is a sequel to Casual Sex.
I bet you Bradley Cooper has seen that movie 100 times. I guarantee you.
Okay. We just discovered we're so smart.
Yes, we are.
This is a sequel to Casual Sex. Now everybody knows. Spoiler alert. We ruined it. We ruined it for everybody. We should ask, where's Leah Thompson?
She's directing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana Buckler interviewed her recently.
Oh, that's awesome.
On How Is This Movie? She's directing now.
I'm going to download that one because
Yeah.
I love him and I love her.
Oh, what's not to love about both of them?
Exactly. Do you have a favorite song from the movie? Or any of the movies?
Evergreen.
Yeah.
It's Barbra Streisand. That's the big hit from that movie. And I'm not one for ballads usually, but that one makes me cry my goddamn eyes out. It reminds me of my mother. My mom was a big Barbra fan.
Aww.
So yeah, I guess I have to give it the edge to Barbra just for that reason.
Yeah, I haven't lived with this one as long, but I can't stop listening to Shallow.
I know you were mentioning that on Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah,
they make you cry.
I can't stop. I keep listening to it over and over. And I keep playing the soundtrack. I'm like doing the dishes or cooking or whatever. And I'm like in there listening to it again. My husband's like, again? I'm like, yes, again.
Yes, again.
So you're going to start crying? I just might.
Yeah. The best music does that though, don't you think?
Yeah. I want to feel something. I appreciate it.
We have feelings. You and I have heart. We're gushy.
We are.
We're not cynical people.
I'm not made of stone.
Bullshit us. We're not. Just don't bullshit us. That's all. That's all we're asking.
With everything that's going on in the world, I think I just needed this movie.
I think we all need this movie. I mean, what's the movie that kept Venom? That's still. I mean, my friend Erin was like, I can't believe that did so well, and I get it. It's I
have
comic book movie.
Zero interest in that movie.
I don't know if I'm going to spend any more money on Marvel films. I mean, Black Panther, yes.
Yeah.
I'll see the sequel, but I don't know. I'm really burning out on them.
Right. I'll see the Infinity War sequel because I'm a completist that way, but Venom has nothing about it that speaks to me.
And I like Tom Hardy, by the way. I'm a big Tom Hardy person, but I can see him in other stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What else should we talk about with A Star is Born? Is that everything?
Let me see who else is in here. Marlon Wayans. I mean, Dave Chappelle, Alec Baldwin. Looking at I think we got everything.
Yeah.
I will recommend. I mean, especially you guys. I mean, you might be like, oh, 1937. How good could this be? But it really holds up. And Janet Gaynor is adorable.
Yeah. And anyone listening to this must appreciate older movies because I won't tolerate anyone shit-talking old movies on this show.
No, and you're going to need this after the 54 version, which is like 3 hours and a lot of filler in there. Yeah, I think this is a nice, crisp little movie.
I think people love that 54 one just because they love Judy Garland, right?
Who doesn't love Judy Garland?
Because the movie itself isn't...
No, it's not great.
Super good.
It's got some of the lines from the 37, which works. And I think, by the way, Judy Garland is acting her ass off in this movie.
Absolutely.
And this is the year, by the way, that she lost the Oscar to Grace Kelly for Country Girl, that piece of shit. I hate that movie so much.
Oh, she was working.
Grace Kelly slumming.
She was working so hard in this movie to win, too. I mean, you could practically see her sweating.
It's the desperation for that statue. You so just sad. Felt it. I know. You know what's funny? Oh, here's some trivia. Janet Gaynor. So they have that scene in the original. She's at the Oscars. She wins an Oscar. And then, her husband shows up, makes an asshole of himself. They have to drag him out. In real life, Janet Gaynor, 10 years before, won the Oscar. And her sister was there and was so jealous, she drunkenly got on the stage and started heckling her.
Oh, my God.
True story.
That's crazy.
And that was like a Hollywood story that went around. Like, everybody goes, did you hear about Gaynor's sister? She was a total, nightmare. And that's why I wound up in the movie. And so poor Janet Gaynor had to act this out like 10 years later. Like, thanks a lot.
That's crazy. I have never heard that, and I'm a total
Yeah.
Oscar nerd. Also, I would totally do that to my sister.
My sister would. I think actually at some point she would appreciate it.
I think my sister would too, actually. She'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you tell him, Sonia.
Yeah, on some level, I think she would like appreciate it. She would understand my feistiness.
Oh my gosh. I love this movie so much.
Me too. And I'm so glad that we did this. I'm so glad you asked me.
And now that we were done talking about it, I'm going to go listen to the soundtrack again and again.
And I'm going to listen to Barbra. I'm going to download that right now. Love, soft as an evening chair.
See?
That is some cheesy shit, but it's amazing.
It is so cheesy. It is amazing, though. And I'm going to be just over here doing the whole, like, tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world?
Wouldn't it be funny if you were actually singing that? How did you get your ass to look that way in those jeans, boy? What if that had been the one that stuck in your head?
I'm so glad that Shallow is the one stuck in my head and not the other one. Oh, man. My husband and my son would be so embarrassed. They're already embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I sing, my son is like, no, mommy, no. No. And I'm like, I am a terrible singer. He's right.
That's what lip syncing is for.
Yeah, I know. I
never want to go to a karaoke bar, but if you say it's a lip syncing thing, I'm totally all over it.
Well, that's what that drag show was, right?
Yeah.
In the movie?
No, except for Gaga was really singing.
Yeah, she's really singing, but everyone else is lip syncing. I did love one more thing that I love. I love when they ask him at the drag club after it's closed to sing, and he's all, what should I sing? And the drag queen says, I don't care what you sing, just look at me when you sing it.
I love that he had her sign his chest, her boob. He signed her boobs, Jackson. And then they called later and said, look, I got my Jackson titties. I laughed so hard.
Just look at me while you do it.
I thoroughly, like I said, I was in the back row with a bum ankle next to the kitchen, and I still had a fantastic time. Yeah. So I just, definitely see this in the big screen if you can.
So everybody, 2 thumbs up from me and Margo. We did trash your childhood a little bit if you super love those other Stars Born. Sorry, everybody.
They're still fun. I think this is my takeaway. They're all ludicrous in their own way. It's very big. It's very over the top. It's epic.
Yes.
They just succeed at different things on different levels. If you're kind of a 70s nerd like I am, you're going to really enjoy it. I mean, you don't believe they're in love for a second.
No.
If you told me that they despised each other offset, I'd be like, oh, I bet.
It doesn't have any of the emotional punch.
No, but the music is real. I mean, the concerts. Okay, this is another thing with the 76. I have to say this. Barbra Streisand is at a rock concert in Arizona, 1976, and she's in a pantsuit. Like she's a librarian or something.
She's got like a sweater on. And like
she's like
a knit cap.
Assistant. I know. What is she wearing?
I know.
With the Oreos? Like she was in that. Oh God! They start off. She's in a trio, and there's 2 black women, and she's the one white woman, so they're called Oreo.
Yeah, nice.
Ugh. Thank you, 70s.
Well, and like the scene where he now we're just gonna start shit talking this movie.
Sorry.
We're gonna destroy your childhood, everybody. Where he gets her to come up on stage and start singing, and she's wearing like a suit.
Yes.
Like, just such a almost like a Wild and Crazy Guys. I'm a wild and crazy guy. Like that kind of suit. It was hilarious to me.
All of my junior high teachers dressed like that. Like in the 80s, but they all had like that suit with like the bright striped shirt.
Well, they all saw the movie. They wanted to be like her.
And she's wearing pantyhose. And you know what I mean? Like, she's so proper.
Taupe and pantyhose.
Yes, pantyhose and a proper bra. Like, she's like, and her nails are done perfectly. Mm-hmm. Like, that about Barbra.
Yeah, she's wearing
like
her taupe legs, pantyhose, and her 18-hour bra.
And she's wearing what was the Tickle. That was the deodorant of the time. It was called Tickle. It was like oh my God. And and I love her Jufro.
Yeah.
Like the curly hair, that was great.
What perfume do you think she was wearing? Do you think it was like
Charlie?
Charlie. Yeah, I would say
Charlie.
or Gina Tay.
What was that? Love's Baby Wash? That shit?
Love's Baby Soft. That shit was, oh my God, I had that stuff. I should buy it if I ever see it again. I bet it's so gross.
My mom had, when I was a kid, we had that shampoo Herbal Essences.
Oh, yeah.
And it was green.
Yeah.
Oh, it's disgusting.
That stuff smells
But we thought
terrible.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we were like, oh, it smells so good. It smells
and all
so terrible.
Phthalates and dyes and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Nothing.
We all just walked around smelling so terrible, but we thought we smelled so good.
Oh, we thought we were awesome. I do like Barbara's apartment, by the way.
That is a sweet apartment.
That's cute. And her wardrobe is fantastic.
I love that our noses have maybe changed over the years. That we can't tolerate all of that perfume and herbal essence shampoo. Because now if someone wears perfume in the office, everyone loses their fucking mind.
Does your dad wear aftershave?
He did back in the 70s, he wore English leather.
My dad wore Old Spice, up until the day he died.
Yeah, my grandpa wore Old Spice.
Yeah, that's the scent I always like. That's like childhood up into adulthood. But men, that's what I thought men smelled like. Isn't that weird?
Well, that's how you're raised, right? You take things you learn from. Now the show's turned into something totally different.
Yes! We're sitting on your childhood again. Never mind.
Yeah. And where we're now talking about the things we learned from our fathers.
Yes. And my mom's name was Rose, so she always wore perfume that had the word rose in it. And yeah.
Did it smell terrible though?
Awful.
That really awful. Fake
She and Dad were both smokers in the 70s when I was a kid, so their smell was not great.
Yeah.
So I think they were just covering up. And everybody did by the time. Everybody smoked, or all their friends smoked, at the office. So I think that's what it was.
That's one of those things I love in old movies where everybody's always smoking, always, everywhere.
Everywhere. With no accounting for blowing crap in someone's face.
No.
Yeah.
See, we all just smelled terrible back then. Awful shampoo, perfume, cigarette smoke.
Oh,
we're the worst. I hope the young people can save this country.
Well, they don't like sense on anything. They're super sensitive.
Yeah, they are sensitive. It's our fault, though.
Yeah,
we probably overpowered them with all of our Love's Baby Soft and Dakar Noir and
Dakar Noir.
Yeah. Blech.
Do you remember Giorgio perfume?
Oh yes.
Oh. And then Calvin Klein Obsession. Oh,
and
God,
Stetson.
Oh.
There's some nasty shit out there. People still buy it too. You could buy it at the Walgreens in a gift pack,
Well, that's why those celebrities make their money.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Like the Britney Spears
packs.
perfume.
Yeah, she makes her money from that. Yeah.
People buy
the Kardashians, that's a lot of their money.
I don't want to smell like a Kardashian.
I want their money, though.
Yeah, I do want their money. I would love their money.
Kris Kardashian, she could boss me around. Kris Jenner could boss me around, I think. I would take some, because she knows how to make money.
She really does.
She knows.
Look what you know what? I really miss the election when just Twitter was just making fun of the Kardashians all the time.
I love Twitter so much.
And tweeting about The Bachelor and shit.
It's the only time it's really good for me now. It's is during 90 Day Fiance. I watch that. That you follow that hashtag. That's the only time. That's a uniter, not a divider. Around the country, everyone's on board with that show. We hate the same people. We make fun of the same things. It's fantastic.
That's good therapy.
Yeah, it really is. Because every time, we used to have weekends on Twitter. Do you remember that? You could just lazily on the weekend check out Twitter, and your feed was fine.
Yes.
And now I feel like I hit mute so much because you can't hit block. Because you block people, they make a screen grab, and then they go after you. So you have to mute people. It's so tiresome.
Yeah, it's just a bummer. It used to be you could sign on, and I never watched The Bachelor, but I did actually think it was funny when I would see the tweets and what people were saying and stuff. And and that's all it would be. It'd be Monday night, and it was all Bachelor, Dancing with the Stars, people just bagging on TV. And now it's our world's on fire and our president's a monster. And
or he's not, and you're wrong. and
Right.
I'm going to attack you until you change your mind.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, same here.
Ugh, I hate it.
Ugh.
Anyway, that's why we all need A Star is Born.
Yes, that's another it's a uniter, not a divider.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I have to say about that. I need to go listen to the soundtrack immediately now. So, Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
The best place to find me is to follow me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick, because on Twitter and Instagram.
She might mute you. No.
I might. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
And I won't mute you. Yeah. But that's because I post all the shows that I work on. But my other podcasts are the Fit Bottom Girls podcast, Book versus Movie, Best Neighbors podcast, and the Not Fade Away podcast. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com. And yes, on Instagram, follow me at Brooklyn Fit Chick. But be warned, I post a lot of pictures of my cats. Because they are the cutest cats in Brooklyn.
They are. They're the cutest cats on the internet, if you ask me.
They
And
should be
I have a
superstars.
cat. Don't tell her.
Yes.
Don't tell her I said that. Oh, God, she's going to get me. You can find the Dorking Out Show at dorkingoutshow.com, and we're on Twitter at Dorking Out Show, and you can find me at The Sonia Show. Sometimes I'm just screaming into the void about politics, but I'm trying to do less and less of that. I'm failing miserably, but I'm really trying. And this is super fun, as always, Margo. You're my favorite.
You're my favorite, and you know there was no way I was not going to see this movie. I don't care bum ankle, wheelchair section or not. I'm going to see it because you were going to
crawl.
Oh, I didn't care. They had to move people around. I don't care. Like I'm going to see this because you and I are going to talk about it.
Well, this was super fun, and I know that you're going to be coming back really soon because we're just making it a regular thing at this point. And thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.